Hi, Jeff here again from GCT Property, and welcome to another edition of Top Tips Tuesday. So this week's tip for those that are considering whether they should be buying their first home or continuing to rent. So is it cheaper to buy or rent? Well, we know there's been a significant number of suburbs around Australia where it's actually more affordable in the current market to rent your property than buy a property. And the reasons for that is twofold. Property prices have been increasing, quite dramatically, obviously, over the last sort of 2.5 years. And of course, interest rates have risen, which means we're paying more on our mortgage payments. So that sort of parity has really changed. Rental prices have also been increasing, so they've been rising faster than inflation, but not as fast as interest rates have been increasing. The other thing to factor in to consider is the future. So we can do the sums today, what makes sense, what's more affordable, but we've got to really look into the future over the next 10 years, what's really going to happen. So net migration coming into Australia in this current calendar year, expected about 300,000 new residents. So that's really going to put another level of pressure on the rents currently being asked. And we've already seen some significant rental increases around the major capital cities around Australia, and based on this population growth in many areas, that situation will only continue to rise. So your rent is going to keep rising over the longer term. And if you did a quick sum, if you're paying $500 per week currently, that's about $25,000 per year you're paying in rent, which is really dead money. And over the next 10 years, that's $250,000, and that's without taking inflation into account, rental increases into account. So that's a significant sum. That's a really good house deposit over the next 10 years. And if you multiply that over the next 30 years, that's $750,000 you'd be paying to a landlord. So again, pros and cons, you need to know all the facts, make up the, to make sure you make the right educated decision. The other thing to consider is the long-term view, as I mentioned. So long-term, your mortgage will stay fixed, or it might even come down if you're paying principal and interest. However, the rents will go upwards. So over time, that affordability of the mortgage will become better and better, where the rental market will only continue to rise. So the longer term, you'll actually probably in another 10 or 15 years, the mortgage payments will actually be lower than the equivalent rents at the time, significantly lower. So again, having that foresight, a bit of short-term pain for long-term gain. So based on the longer term, reduce the loan term, it means that for most people, the smarter decision is to get in and buy your own property. I know it's easier said than done. The biggest challenge I think I see from first home buyers, I know helping my own daughter into property, was the deposit. It's a real challenge now that property prices have really moved. So just try and be creative. See if you can find a way of buying a property jointly. Rent vesting is a great strategy for those if you can't afford to buy in your local area. So there is ways around it. Have a plan, speak to your financial specialist about your borrowing capacity and what you need to get to that deposit or that borrowing capacity figure to purchase, and then take steps towards owning your own home. I think the long-term benefits far outweigh a bit of short-term costs or pain, and also the peace of mind of having your own, being able to live in your own home is a huge factor as well. So I hope that's helped. If you know anyone that's looking to buy their own home and not sure about where they should be renting, please share it on if it's helpful, because it's a big decision you're going to make today that could have really great long-term effects once you get onto the property market. So thanks for watching, and see you next Tuesday.